Hi everybody, my name's Ann. Welcome to Art on the Creek. We're here in my home studio in Parker, Colorado, and I've got out a lot of my Viviva supplies. I just wanted to show you, these are some of the older ones. The Viviva Colorsheets, these are dye-based and they are super vivid, transparent watercolors. You guys have seen me do a whole lot of Viviva on this channel. I do have a partnership with them through at least until the end of the year, which would be 2023. I'll put a link up in the corner here to a playlist of all of the Viviva videos that I have done, and also in the description there will be a coupon for you to save some money. If you've never seen them, we'll play with them a little bit today. They are dye-based watercolors that are painted on a large sheet, dried in the sun, and then cut up and put into these little folios. So they're really super convenient, really easy to use. And the fun thing about them, now this one I've used quite a bit, but can you see a little bit of iridescence there on that peacock blue? It's really a kind of a phthalo blue, but it's not iridescent at all. So when you paint with these, they're really, really fun. Like for instance, this Prussian blue, that has an awful lot of iridescence, as does the violet, and it looks green. It's not, it's purple when you paint with it. So this particular set is obviously used, as are these others, but I wanted to get them out because I thought we could paint a little goldfish today. Now I have two different kinds of sketchbooks here. I have their travel kit, which is really kind of cool. It has this elastic closure and a little flap. Now this comes in two sizes. This is the A6 size, and it comes in one this size, A5. So with this A6 size, what you will get is a sketch pad, a pen, which is a really nice ink pen. It's a Zig Mangaka pen, which I really like. This is a 0.05. That fits right in there. You get a really nice water brush, which we'll use that today. And this pocket, you can fit your paints right in here. These are the new packaging of the Viviva Color Sheets. And as you can see, I have used these as well. These folios will last you about 30 paintings. So there's quite a bit of paint in here, and they've got this little paper in between so that you can put it away when it's still damp and not worry about contaminating the other paints. This area here is kind of coated a little bit with some sort of a substance like a plastic or something so that you can use it as a mixing area and then clean it right up. So you can use this for your palette, which is really, really nice. They're all handmade in India, and it's a family company, and I really have had so much fun with these. I used this one for World Watercolor Month. Many of you will remember that. Today, though, I want to do a goldfish, and we're going to compare, because here's the other sketchbook they have. This is their Handmade Cotton Sketchbook, and I've done a review on this one also. Handmade paper, you can see there's some flecks in it and bumps, and it does have kind of a cream ivory tone. It's because it's made from recycled cotton rags, so it is really very, very natural. The other thing that you'll notice, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but the texture on this page, I can really see where it was pressed. I can see the grains of whatever they used. It's more of a linear grid pattern. Whereas on this page it doesn't show up quite as much. So there are some of those kinds of inconsistencies, but for a watercolor paper it's really pretty nice. Whenever you're dealing with handmade paper, you won't be able to put tape on it, even washi tape, or use masking fluid, because they're just too delicate. But they're a lot of fun to use, and we're going to paint one goldfish on here and one in here so that you can see how the different papers work. So let's see, for today I think I'll use the color sheets today. We'll do a really bright and vibrant goldfish. So this is the A6 sketchbook, and I do like it because it has this pocket in the back, and it's a lay flat sketchbook, which is really nice. And that, I finally realized, is why it's bound this way, because that helps it lay flat. Once you get toward the end of the book, you do need that extra lift there. See how that comes up? So physics, yeah. Once you get going, you realize why they do things that they do. But at any rate, let's go ahead and let's draw our little goldfish on here. I think I'm going to do her in this direction. In case you want to do this on your own, I will put a link to the reference photo I'm using from Unsplash for our little goldfish here. And I just want to tell you, when I'm using my pencil here on the paper, it really is a dream. It just doesn't have any extra slipping or sliding to it at all. The sizing does not get in the way of performance. For handmade paper, this one really is quite delightful to use, and I've been very, very pleased with it overall. There we are. I think that's a good place to start with our goldfish, and we will just use our water brush here. This water brush is very nice. It has a really good point on it. You can see I've used it quite a bit. Anytime you have a brush with white filament, it's going to stain. In fact, let me give you another example of that. These are the Meeden brushes, and you can see this one has been stained because I've used it more than this one. They're both clean. It's just that white nylon filament really does get stained very easily. So let's see, I'm going to clip this because it keeps popping up. Being a little difficult for me there. There we go. And we'll go ahead and get into our paints, and we can paint our goldfish. Now I'm going to start with some of the yellow here, this chrome yellow, and I'm just going to put some drops of water on there and then loosen that up that way. And we'll just put a little bit of yellow on her there. Around her mouth, she's got some yellow. And here. And here. And let's go ahead and put some on her fins just to make it interesting. Okay, and then now, see, now this is wet, but we can just go right ahead and flip it over to get to this dusk orange. And that is what we're going to use for her fins here. I'm going to speed this portion up a little bit here because sometimes I think it's easier to see how the paint acts on the paper when it's going in time lapse. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a very thin layer of that blue on there to just kind of get the light ends of the fins. And every time I use these color sheets, I am really stricken by how concentrated these dyes are. The colors are so vibrant, and look at when you go wet on wet, they just blend together seamlessly, and they just have the right amount of movement. You can still control it, but the colors will blend and play very nicely for you on the page. Now with this cream paper, you are going to get kind of a different tone than you would with a bright white paper, which is why I wanted to show you this both ways. We've got this magenta and black. I'm going to mix that black with that peacock blue. There we go. That's a nice dark blue that I've got there. I want it very, very thin. This is going to be some of the shadows. Now in the reference photo, the fish is white right there, so I just wanted to use the blue to highlight the shadow. However, I did run my brush into the existing colors, so you can see how very easily these reactivate. And now I'm going to use the yellow ochre. Let's go do the iris of her eyes in this yellow ochre, which is a really nice kind of a russet color. Even though that is a beautiful tone in that yellow ochre, it's really not going to be the same color as a traditional watercolor made with PY42, the yellow ochre pigment. So what I recommend if you're going to use these and enjoy their wonderful vibrancy is to go ahead and swatch them all out ahead of time and mix them, play with them a little bit, because they may not act like conventional watercolors for you. You might get some different mixes than you expect. Starting to look like a little fishy there. And this is okay. This turned out to be a nice little tan shade, which is fine. And I think at the end we're going to go around it with some liner, some marker. But let's do something fun with the water here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go into a bigger brush because I've got a bigger surface area here to cover. So let me get this wet first. It reactivates very, very easily, so I'm trying to be very careful about not getting the edge of the fish, but you can see in some places that I'm hitting it. So just be aware that it does reactivate very easily. Going into the peacock blue here, and this is a vibrant, vibrant blue, and it really is quite staining. So let's pull this around. You can probably tell I have a very generous amount of paint on there. So really very little water is all you need. In fact, I think I kind of went in with like gangbusters on this one. But the fun thing about it is all I have to do is re-wet my brush a little bit, and I can just pull that existing pigment around. Even if it dries on the page, it reactivates so easily that I can just lift it up again and move it somewhere else. So I'm dropping in some extra water and some extra blue, and now I think I'm going to drop in some of this Viridian just because it would make a really nice color for the ocean. There we go. I think he's finishing up nicely, and now it's time to paint our second goldfish on this paper so you can see how it performs a little bit differently. Let's see, here's the page that I'm on. And this one is going to, of course, be a whole lot smaller. So let's see here. Let's start with the eyes. All right, now I'm going to erase this first. This paper is more like a hot press paper. It's not cotton. This one over here, the sketchbook is 100% cotton, but this isn't. So that's the difference there. Let's see, let's paint her the same way. We started with the chrome yellow. And we put some here and here and around her mouth. A little bit on the fins. And at the tail. Those of you who are more eagle-eyed than I am may notice that I'm using a little bit different style of painting here, but I'm trying to be as similar as possible. And given the fact that I am human and trying to do things exactly the same way 2 paintings in a row is a challenge in and of itself. But I'm able to go ahead, and I remembered to dry her face this time before I put the little blue shadow in. I'm able to go ahead and drop in those colors and let them mix and blend on this white paper that's not cotton just as easily as I could on that cotton sketchbook. In fact, in a lot of ways, I actually like this paper very, very much. I'm typically not a fan of wood pulp papers, but this one meets my A list. I think it's very, very good paper. And I love the little reporter notebook style. You can use it landscape or portrait. And I just really think it's a beautiful way to have your watercolors and carry them with you. And with this spiral, it's so easy to leave it open and very cooperative, very easy to use. I can go ahead and do wet on wet techniques, not have any issues at all. Dropping colors in, wet on dry, dry on wet. It's just very, very easy to use this paper. Sometimes you have to dry on the back side of the paper to really get it to come completely dry. I'm going to go over it with this liner. I want to show you the mangaka liner that comes with it so that you can see how nice it is. So I want to make sure it's really dry. All right, and once again, this is a 0.5 liner. Very easy to use. It fits right in here. I really had fun World Watercolor Month using this. Using the fine liner on this paper is really, truly like a match made in heaven. It glides across it seamlessly. There are no skips, there are no glitches, and it doesn't bleed into the paper at all. So this is really a beautiful combination, and I'm very grateful that it was included in the travel kit. I really like this liner. Now, just rinse this off in water and squeeze it, make sure it runs clear. If you've never used a water brush, that is how you clean them, is you just squeeze until the water runs clear, and then brush it off a little bit, and you're good to go. This one, just want to show you real quick. It just loads right under the tap. Very, very easy to use. I really do like this one, and it's nice and long, and the cap will post on the end, which means that yours truly is not going to lose it. So that's a really good thing for me. Now let's get some liner on this guy. Kind of try and do the same. And once again, this pen performs beautifully on this paper as well. It doesn't skip, it doesn't snag anywhere, it's not tearing the paper at all. And I am really just drawing with normal pressure that I normally would. I'm not feeling like I have to treat the paper delicately at all. So that's a huge plus. I also want to add really quickly here that Viviva did not pay me to make this video. All of the opinions and experiences that you're seeing in this video and hearing are strictly my own, based on my experience as an artist and instructor. So those are the Viviva Color Sheets. When you put them on their wood pulp paper here, did you get a real close look at that one? And again, this paper is white and it comes in the A6 and A5 size. If you do decide to go this route, look for sales because they often have sales on their site. So there's that. And here it is on the Handmade paper. A little bit different tone to it, but that paper is definitely, it's definitely cream. So it definitely has a different sort of tone. And tone of the paper does matter. Here they are, the color sheets swatched out on a conventional white watercolor paper. That is that A6 travel kit. And now here they are swatched out on the Handmade paper that has that cream tone to it. You can see it brings out a little bit of a richness or a mellowness. Here's the fish that we did on that bright white paper. And then finally the one that we did in the Handmade Cotton Sketchbook. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you have a wonderful art-filled week. And we will see you next time right here on Art on the Creek. Bye now.